Stevens, creator of such masterpieces as Giant and his Academy Award-winning A Place in the Sun, enlarges the scope of the screen with a motion picture whose monumental background is matched by the stature of its moving human drama. Drama that began when a mysterious stranger rode in from out of nowhere to play a decisive role in the lives of these rugged pioneers.
You can call me Shane.
Shane, who attracted the woman with his quiet strength, who fascinated the boy with the glint of his gun.
We'd all be much better off if there wasn't a single gun left in this valley.
A gun is as good or bad as the man using it.
From the clash of elemental forces, George Stevens has created a motion picture unforgettable for its spectacle and scope, its great human story, its deadly conflict.
I've heard about you.
What have you heard, Shane?
I've heard that you're a low-down Yankee liar.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Brahma Bulletin. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Now, I know last week we took a week off from the live show because I was at the Tucson Sugar Skulls and the San Antonio Gunslingers game. So, didn't have a show, but we are back and we are better than ever. So, let's get right into it. We're going to start off by doing our recap of the Brahmas games. So, let's get into it. All right. All right, so the Renegades and the Brahmas game is going to be held tomorrow, Saturday, April the 27th at 6 p.m. at Choctaw Stadium in Arlington, Texas. So me and Mike, we're going to be there, and we hope to see you there as well. It's going to be 70 degrees. It's going to be cloudy with a 50% chance of rain with 25-mile-an-hour per hour winds. So for those who are looking at tailgating, well, you might want to be prepared because the weather may or may not cooperate with you. All right, so my keys to victory. My first key is that I think that the Brahmas really need to snuff out any hope that Arlington has left of their season. As we know, Arlington is 0-4 and San Antonio is 3-1. Now, looking at the Arlington-Houston game from last week, the Renegades, they looked out of sorts. They looked confused. They looked disoriented. They just looked out of it. And right now, with their season being on the brink of collapse, really, they are a very desperate team, and we need to stomp them out right out of the gate, snuff out any hope that Arlington has left of their season. My next key is that I think that the Brahma Bulldozers need to continue their brilliant play. Uh, the offensive line, I think, has been very, very, very good, even with all the injuries. Now, we know that Alex Millette, he was on injury reserve, and then the following week we had Greg Island also placed on injury reserve, and now we just found out today that Derek Kelly is also placed on injury reserve. And speaking of Derek Kelly, I watched him very closely in the Panthers game, and he went out the injury early in the second quarter, but when he came back, he was absolutely dominant on that offensive line. I mean, he was having his way with the Panthers' defensive ends. There was one play in particular that he was up against the defensive tackle. He was blocking, and another guy came in, and then just with one arm, just kind of stiffed them out and blocked it. It was amazing. All right. It was absolutely amazing. So I think that the Brahma Bulldozers need to continue that. Now, with Derek Kelly out for probably the rest of the season on injured reserve, it doesn't leave us with a left tackle. So there's going to be some shuffling we're going to have to do. And I just, man, these injuries are really hitting us bad, especially on the offensive line. All right. So my next key is that the run game needs to be established and maintained. Now, every team in the UFL is having problems with their running game, except for Birmingham. They're about the only team that has a decent running game. And San Antonio is no different. Our running game has kind of struggled. It's been feast or famine, kind of hit or miss. But if there is a game for the Brahmas to get going, it's this game. Arlington has the worst run defense in the league. So this is it. This is our moment to get that ground game established, to get it going, and to wear down the Renegades, dominate the time of possession, and just snuff out any hope that Arlington has of winning the game. And I say that the Brahmas need to contain Luis Perez. Now, unlike last week, when Luis Perez did not look all that good, for the most part this year, he has been very good. In fact, he is tops in the league in passing yards and yards per game. So if we can contain him and keep him in a box and keep pressure on him, we will absolutely contain him. San Antonio last week had 6 sacks against the Panthers and are second in the UFL in sacks. So we can maintain that pressure and keep him off his game and keep him uncomfortable, then Arlington has no shot whatsoever in this game. All right, we'll go into our prediction accountability section. Well, I can tell you right now, my predictions last week were not all that good. All right, my first prediction, I said that Quentin Dormany will throw at least 2 touchdowns. Well, that is yeah, he only threw 1 touchdown. All right, my next prediction, I said the Brahmas will convert over 50% of their third down attempts. I was incorrect about that. They only converted 36% of their third down conversion. My next prediction, I said the defense will not allow a rushing touchdown. That was correct. The only touchdown that the Panthers got was a passing touchdown. That was late in the game, basically during garbage time. And my last prediction, I said the defense will record at least 3 sacks. Absolutely nailed that one. The Brahmas, in fact, got 6 sacks. So, right now, when it comes to my tracker for week 4, I was 2 right, 2 wrong, so 50% accurate. And overall, I am 5 right, 12 wrong. I am 29% accurate. Mike and the viewers, guys, did not have a prediction last week, mostly because we did not have a show. And so Mike is still at 2 right, 5 wrong, 20% accuracy, and the viewers at 2 right, 10 wrong, or 20% accuracy. All right, so that was my prediction accountability. So if anybody out there is watching would like to give me your predictions, please drop them in the comments below and I'll record them and we'll see how you compare against us. As you can see, you're not going to be very difficult to be better than us. I mean, 29% accuracy is not all that good. All right. So before we get into our game predictions, I would like to introduce my rusty, trusty co-host in here, XFLMikeG.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, Mike. How are you doing tonight?
Excellent, excellent. With the exception of some computer issues,
Yeah.
there's nothing like getting ready for a show. You're about to go on, and your laptop decides to reset itself.
Oh gosh, gotta love that. Absolutely love that. Well, I'm glad that you're back and you got things up and running, right?
Yep. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Mike, I just went over my key takeaways and from the Panthers and the Brahmas game. So, quickly, what did you take away from that game?
I love from right off the bat the aggressiveness of the Brahmas. They got the ball to start out with, and they're like, we're going to go down the field. And it was a short play. I'm sorry, it was a short drive highlighted by one big play, a chunk play that led to a 3-yard touchdown. They remained aggressive all the way through the game, with the exception of the third quarter. They slowed down a little bit. I don't like that, honestly. I was like, keep your foot on the gas with these UFL games.
Right.
You never know when somebody can come back on you. But offense was tremendous, and we're starting to see more. They've added a third wide receiver, Stevenson. I'm sorry, just two, Stevenson and Kirkland, with Justin Smith, and of course Cody Latimer. The defense was outstanding. That front seven was all over the ball.
Yes, absolutely. It was an absolute masterpiece defensively. I mean, you could argue it's just because Michigan is inept on offense, but I really do think it was a complete defensive effort. Michigan had no shot. The only play they really had was Perry scrambling for his life. That was it.
Yeah, and he didn't really have much of a choice but to scramble. I think he was the leading rusher in the game. His O-line, they just need some help. I don't know if it's injuries or what's going on with them. They're kind of in the same boat with Memphis. So that USFL conference, even though the Stallions have a stranglehold on it, it's still wide open. Houston still even has a chance. Houston, Memphis, and Michigan will be fighting it out for the rest of the year for that second spot.
Yes, yes. And as Rick 8-Bit here says, Dormany looked good. I thought he looked really good. His first game in what, a year since last year when he played with the Guardians, and just coming off the bench. And I mean, the only criticism I had about him was he put a little too much air in his long balls. Other than that, he looked sharp and crisp.
He's still getting in tune and with those guys, because most of the reps went to Garbers. But he's already got a familiarity with Cody Latimer, and it'll be a matter of time before he starts hooking up with Kirkland and Stevenson and Smith, just going downfield.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for them to remain aggressive throughout the entire game.
Yes.
One thing that I got a nitpick here. No team goes for more 1-pointers than we do, and no team goes for fewer 2-pointers than we do. The success rate there kind of weighs it out. I think you go for 2, you got more room to maneuver, and you get 2 points. So even if it fails, you're still going to balance out.
Right.
So I would like them to go for more 2-point conversions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So looking ahead at the Arlington game, what do you think San Antonio needs to do to secure victory?
Not get overconfident. That's the big one to me. They've got to remain focused and do what you do. And it's a little bit harder sometimes when you think, okay, we got this team. They haven't won a game yet. And that letdown will let that team get into the game. If they can stay on them and get on them early and just kind of cruise, that would be the ideal situation. Now, you got to keep Luis Perez in check. You got to keep the run game where it's at, which is almost non-existent.
Right.
I don't want to say trap game, but it kind of feels like a little bit of a trap game. But, you and I will be there. We'll be loud. We'll be with the Horse Forward super fans. Excuse me.
Yep.
And we'll be there loud and rowdy. I know you're loud and rowdy because I've seen you at the Gunslinger games.
Yes. Yes. So I think we'll probably be louder than the home crowd.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. So it's gonna be a home game basically.
Yeah, and there's only gonna be 10 of us, maybe. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the number got to 25. So there will be a small section of us of about 20, 30 people versus the 7,000 or 8,000 that Arlington's going to produce, and we will be louder than they are. That's a fact.
Absolutely. So Rick also pointed out that he thinks that Wade is more old school on the point after attempt.
Agreed, Rick. Yeah, he is, and it seems at times that he's still a little bit old school, and he's kind of finding his way, because that did creep up a little bit when he was with Houston. That old school mentality, where the UFL with the different rules, you've got to have a different mindset. You've got to stay on the gas and score, because if you're down more than, or if you're down less than, let's say, 16 points, they still have a chance.
Exactly.
The other team still has a chance to get that touchdown and then do the conversion and keep rolling. So stay on the gas. Wade needs to stay on the gas.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move into our predictions for this game here. My first prediction I say that Luis Perez will not throw for a touchdown. 0 touchdown throws for Luis Perez. I also say that the Brahmas will not allow a first down in the first quarter. No first downs in the first quarter for Arlington. And I say the Brahmas will have a 100-plus yard rushing performance by any of our running backs. So, like I said in my keys to victory, is that if there is a game for San Antonio to get the run game going, it's this game because Arlington is the worst in rushing defense. So, and because of that, we'll finally get a 100-yard rusher. And last, I do say that John Trey Kirkland will have at least a 100-yard receiving game. So those are my predictions. What do you think, Mike? What are your predictions for this game?
I don't know. I've been thinking on it. It's Stoops has to do something. What is he going to do? So I don't know where the spark that he's looking for is going to come from. So it's kind of hard for me to sit down. It would be easy to say, Perez is going to have a bad game. They're not going to run the game, to run the ball. We're going to dominate them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch enough football, that's not always true.
Right.
Any given Saturday, in this case, something can pop up. I'm hoping that we jump on them and stay on them, and it'll be a lot like the last game where we get into the third quarter and then we kind of take our foot off the gas. But hopefully by that time we'll have a double-digit lead. Hopefully it'll be closer to 20 points as opposed to 10. But it's difficult to. I wonder what Stoops is doing. I wonder what they're doing.
Yes.
So I don't know. I haven't looked into it very much. I'm just kind of taking this game as a fan. Enjoy it. It's going to be my first road trip following my team as a fan into a hostile environment. So
yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
I too.
As far as predictions for the game, I think Luis Perez and Dormady will be tied in touchdowns, whatever that may be, whether it's 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll have multiple receivers with at least 50 to 75 yards. So let's say 3 receivers with at least 50 yards.
Oh, wow.
I think Morgan Ellison will get some touches. I don't know how many, but it'll be, I'm thinking 10 plus touches.
Okay.
We don't know if McFarland's coming back. He was inactive in the last game.
Right.
I think I vaguely remember seeing an injury report that he was on, but these injury reports are coming out so late and so last minute.
They are.
And sometimes during the game, and it's kind of hard to keep track of that.
Yes,
but I think between Lovett and Ellison, we'll do well on the ground, like you were saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So I'd say that my final score prediction is Brahmas 24, Arlington 12.
If I have to put a number on it, let's go 32-18. San Antonio.
Nice. So you're thinking more of an offensive output for the Brahmas.
We've got to jump on them and stay on them. If we turn Luis Perez into a passing quarterback, he leads the league in passing, but because he's always behind, he has to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. We do that, he plays right into our hands. Our front 7 is going to be on this man. And could be multiple sacks again for multiple people.
Oh, I absolutely believe that. And before we move on, Rick does want to know our thoughts with this being a regional game. Again, how do you think that the ratings will do?
I looked at the cities that were going to be covered in the what's going to be considered a local market for, of course, the Dallas Metroplex and the San Antonio area.
Right.
Most of Texas, except for obviously Houston.
Right.
They only gave us 11% coverage.
Yes.
So we're getting disrespected once again.
Yes.
It's like you keep counting San Antonio out, and they keep coming back.
Right.
I think the the Birmingham Stallions Houston game should have more ratings just for the fact that they got more major markets. I mean, they've got Atlanta, all of Alabama, parts of Texas, the Houston area. So they should outperform us. If we make it close, that's an embarrassment to them.
Yes.
But I think we'll do well because I think San Antonio will support this league in this week of regional coverage.
Yes, sir. And good old Rick, his prediction 24-20. So
Put that on the board, Eric.
we got that. I'll write that down. I'll write that down. And DeMarcus, hey DeMarcus, he says if the Brahmas get up early, I wonder if the Renegades start quitting. Absolutely.
That's what I want.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry to Marcus, but this week we're enemies. So
yes.
But I do look forward to meeting DeMarcus face to face if he's gonna be there. I don't know what section he's gonna be in, but DeMarcus and anybody else who's with him is. I'm going to invite them to the Horns Forward tailgating, so you're more than welcome to come out and hang out with us, and we'll show you what football in Texas is really about.
Absolutely. All right, so let's transition from the Brahmas to the Gunslingers. So let's get into that. All right, so we have some very special guests on the show tonight. We have Mr. Tristan Vance and Mr. Austin Upshaw. Gentlemen, thank you all for joining us tonight. Greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all having us, fellas.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
All right, Tristan, I know this is your second time being on the show. Thank you for coming back. And Austin, this is your first time, so thank you very much. We greatly appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit. I wanted to get your thoughts about the Sugar Skulls game. So we know that last week you guys played the Tucson Sugar Skulls, and luckily you guys captured them. You collected your bounty, finally got that first victory in the IFL. So congratulations, guys. We greatly appreciate that. I know that was a big monkey off y'all's back. So I want to get y'all's takeaways from that game real quick. Tristan, we'll start with you from a defensive perspective. What was the key to you guys beating the Sugar Skulls?
I think defensively, just as a unit, it was a big step forward for us. Mentally, physically, psychologically, we got stops early and often like we needed to kind of have a quick start. A fast start really helps, initiate the game and initiate momentum. And it ultimately just all came together as far as, making plays, a greater level of trust, and, played as a unit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because as soon as y'all had the very first stop on Tucson's first possession, when you stopped them on fourth down, I said to myself, this game's over. I mean, the way that y'all been cooking on offensively, all we needed just that one stop. You got the very first possession. I was like, yep, we got this in the bag, and we all did. So, Austin, offensively, what was the big thing to you guys winning against Tucson last week?
It was really all about just making plays, making one-on-one plays, and getting the ball to our guys who can do that. We really fed off the defense's energy. Like you said, I knew when we got that first stop, it was a wrap for them because we're a hard offense to stop. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Mike, what did you think? What did you take away from that game?
Kind of the same thing I did with the Brahmas game. The offense was aggressive. The defense was aggressive. We stayed on the gas, and we got it done. You could, and I said this to you at the game, you could immediately tell there's a different tone to this team.
Oh, yeah.
They're aggressive. They're staying on it. The play calling was even more aggressive than it had been in the past. I don't know what Coach Manas said to the guys, but his message got through to this time.
Yes. Mike, one of my key takeaways, I said that the offense scored on every possession. Now, and we know the defensive struggles that you guys had in the past. We're not going to, that's all in the past. But I figured that we just needed to be perfect, and we were. We scored in every single possession except for the very last one, which was a kneel down. So that really doesn't count. And I thought y'all, as a defensive unit, really stepped up. I mean, you forced 2 turnovers, you had 2 interceptions, and you turned Tucson over on that fourth down on the very first possession, set the tone, absolutely dominated on defense. Tristan, I watched you very closely throughout the game. Man, you were all over the field. If you were not tackling someone, you were right there. And I thought that was a major key to us winning. And I
Appreciate
thought
that,
that.
brother.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot more work
absolutely.
to come. We're just
Yeah.
all 8 moving as one out there. 8 people are moving as one
Yes,
out there.
sir. Yes, sir. And I thought the Sam Casanova just continues to shine. I mean, he threw for 7 touchdowns, rushed for another. I mean, the guy's an absolute beast. And Austin, you must be absolutely thrilled playing with someone of that caliber.
Oh yeah, it's awesome to play with a quarterback who's that competitive and who loves the game that much. You see it shine through every game day. Like that guy loves to compete, and it shows.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I thought my last big key takeaway was that the newcomers that you guys had on defense really played a huge role in the defensive turnaround. It, I was looking at the playbook, or not the playbook, but the program guide, and I was looking at some of the names and like, wow, there's a bunch of new people on defense, and we knew that was happening. Coach said it himself on the coaches show that there would be new players, and boy, they stepped in from game one, right then and there, set the tone. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was good to have um a new wave of energy and shifters and impact players come and be ready to play. That speaks about them as a level and their level of professionalism as far as being ready to perform quickly and at a high level. And like I said, we're just 8 moving as one on defense. That's really all we can be. 8 moving as one, and we hope to replicate that same energy and build on it as the season goes forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so we know in football there's not a whole lot of time for you guys to revel in any type of victories. It's the next game up. So let's move on to y'all's next game. All right, you guys are playing the Frisco Fighters this Friday at 7:30 in Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas. So this will be the first of 3 games that you have against the Fighters, and the first of a home and home, like back to back. So not only are we playing them this week, but we turn around and play them next week at home. So we'll start off with you, Tristan, defensively. What do y'all need to do to get your victory here in Frisco?
I believe it begins similarly with a fast start, high level of energy and execution early on in the game, um, to give the ball back to our offense, who is super productive, and just kind of take advantage of the momentum of the game early. There's multiple swings, especially in indoor football momentum, but might as well initiate that. And then being consistent, limiting the big plays. They have some really good high level players, high level athletes, winning matchups, but it's going to take a full unit performance. The back end working with the front end, and the front end working with the back end, and it all coming together. But it'll be good.
Sure. Yes, sir. And you just need to keep doing what you've been doing so far this year, and just keep balling out on that defensive side. Uh,
Appreciate it.
Austin, offensively, what do y'all need to do to beat the Fighters?
I think it really just comes down to making plays, taking advantage of every opportunity that we get. They have a pretty talented defense, but we're not really scared. We're gonna go attack as we always do. We're gonna be aggressive and take our shots. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. So, Mike, what do you think that the Gunslingers need to do to beat Frisco?
Contain TJ Edwards. That's what it's going to be about. You know, he can run, he can pass, and he's not afraid to mix it up. It's going to be what their defensive philosophy is going to be in regards to him. Do they turn him into a passer and let him do that, keep him in the pocket, or do they continue to put pressure on him and hope he doesn't escape the pocket? So it'll be interesting. And I don't want to ask because I don't want to give away any strategies or anything. But how much of a focus has that been in practice for Tristan here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, most all weeks the quarterback is the engine of the football of the team, especially in indoor football. And this week is no different. Their quarterback, he's definitely the engine of their team. Big playability. It's about limiting the big plays and a commitment to doing your job and executing what you need to execute for the collective of the group. And that's a challenge. We understand that and we're ready to accept it.
All right. So I thought my keys to victory here is kind of like Mike. You just kind of stole my thunder there. We need to keep TJ Edwards in check. I mean, he is the reigning IFL MVP from last year. And yeah, you look at his numbers are a little down this year compared to where he was at this point last year, but still, he's an absolute threat, and I think we need to keep him in check. And I said we need to overcome Frisco's defense. I mean, it was said just now that Frisco has an outstanding defense. In fact, I think they're number one in the league in overall defense. And I think they're number two overall in rushing defense. So that is going to be an absolute test for our offense to move the ball against such a great defense. And we need to make stops. I mean, that's the key. At least one stop per half. I mean, that's what Coach Minot says in his show. One stop per half. And we did it against Tucson, the very first possession, and boom, that game was absolutely over. So I think that those are the keys that we have to beat Frisco. And with our guys, Tristan here, absolute beast on defense. Austin, you're an absolute monster in offense. I have no worries about this. It's going to be a tough test, but I think this will be a good game for you guys to really build character and to move forward. Because Frisco, we know they have been one of the most successful teams in the league since they joined, and they joined what 4 years ago, and they've been thinking double digits every year since they've been a franchise. So it's going to be a tough test, but I'm pretty confident you guys are up to the challenge.
Absolutely, great opportunity.
Yes, sir. We're ready.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And Austin, I just want to give a special shout out to you because I know you went to SMU, and well, my wife went to SMU, so
Ah,
she's a
small
she's a
world.
fan of yours. So she's always talking about being a
Pony up.
perky pony. So so uh,
Everyone's a fan of Austin Upshaw. Everyone's a fan.
So, Austin, with you going to SMU, what's it like going back into your old stomping grounds? I know Frisco's not exactly Dallas, but what's it like going up there?
Oh yeah, it'll be good. Dallas was home for 6 years, and so it'll be good to have like a kind of homecoming. I'm excited. I know some people will be out there, so it'll be fun.
Oh yeah,
Play in front of Dallas crowd again.
yes, sir. Well, I know Mike and I are going to be there.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all making that trip, fellas.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. We're hoping to get some tickets right by y'all's bench, so that way we can be right there supporting you the whole time.
And you'll definitely hear us because we will be loud.
Oh yeah.
That we're going to try to recreate that atmosphere from Freeman. The atmosphere in the last game was awesome. There was fewer people
Yeah.
there, but
Hmm.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody needed that win, not just the
Hmm.
players and the coaches, but the management, the fans. Everybody needed that win to get the monkey off our back. And okay, let's
Hmm.
go, let's roll.
Yep. That's
Yeah, and
right.
definitely. And about that game, we appreciate everyone who did come too, because it was on a Thursday night, middle of the
Yep.
work week, school week, and so those people who delegated and time and commitment and traffic and everything that goes with it, we appreciate them. And those who are planning on coming, we still appreciate you too.
Yes, we appreciate you guys for going out there and putting your bodies on the line every single game. I mean, we see that it's a very fast-paced game, and with those dasher boards there, and it's pretty intense. So we, as fans, appreciate you all for sacrificing yourself for our entertainment. All right. So,
For the
Mike,
glory.
did you have anything for our esteemed guests before we let them go for the night? I know they got a lot to get ready for and traveling tomorrow and pretty long bus ride. I'm assuming it's a bus ride, guys, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
it'll be a bus ride this time. Most of the time it's a flight, but it's close enough that it's a bus
Right.
ride.
All right. So I know you guys got that bus ride. So got to get your guys good sleep and good rest and have a safe trip up to Frisco. And we'll see you there.
We appreciate y'all time,
Thank you.
energy, and effort.
All right,
Guns
guys.
up,
Thank
baby.
you.
Guns up.
Guns up, baby.
Guns
Guns
up for
up.
sure. Take care.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right. And that was Tristan Vance and Austin Upshaw from the San Antonio Gunslingers. I greatly appreciate their time, for taking time out of their schedules to join us tonight and having a quick little chat, giving their thoughts and opinions on last week's game as well as giving their thoughts and opinions on the upcoming game against Frisco. All right, Mike. So let's get into my prediction accountability for last week. Ooh,
Oh, I'm
boy.
so glad I missed it last week.
Oh, oh boy. So my first prediction, I said that the Gunslingers will kick a deuce. Well, actually, I was right. They actually kicked 2 deuces, so that was really good. And I said that DJ Myers will have at least 100 yards receiving. Unfortunately, yeah, he only had 75. Well, not only, but he did have 75. And at the very beginning of the game, I thought he had that really long pass completion early in the game, and I'm thinking, well, my prediction is going to come to pass real quick, and then it fell just short. So yeah, unfortunately, that was an awe for me. All right, my next prediction, I said the defense will surrender less than 50 yards of rushing. Yeah, Tucson had 100 yards of rushing. And I said that the Gunslingers will record their first sack of the season. Yeah, so far they have yet to get a sack. I think it's them and Tucson are the only teams in the IFL that have yet to record a sack. So that means that my prediction as of week 6, I was 1 right, 3 wrong, so I was 25% accurate. Overall, I am 7 right, 19 wrong, with a 27% accuracy. All right, Mike, you and the viewers did not make any predictions last week because we didn't have a show, so y'all remain. Mike, right now you are still 2 right, 3 wrong. You're 40% accurate, and the viewers are still 0 for 5. All right, get into my game predictions for this week. Well, I predict that a gunslinger receiver will have at least 100 yards of receiving. I don't know which one, but I think at least one of them will get 100 yards of receiving. And I predict that Sam Casanova will complete a pass that is at least 30 yards. So he's going to have a 30-yard bomb. And TJ Edwards will have at least 3 passing touchdowns. Now, this is the first time I've actually predicted something for the opposing team, but I don't know. I just think that he's going to have his time, but it's going to be just short. We'll pull it out. And I say that Sam Casanova will have more rushing yards by himself than the rest of the team combined. So, Mike, what do you think? What are your predictions for this game?
If you could rewind those graphics, and basically that you took all my stuff again. You got me. No, and I think it'll be a shootout. I think it'll be a heavyweight. I was being facetious, but I think it'll be a heavyweight fight. It'll be a shootout. I think Sam will get at least 3 passing touchdowns. Unfortunately, I think TJ Edwards will as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do like a prediction that Sam will lead the team in rushing, but I think we're going to get 2 turnovers on defense, at least 2. I want 3, but at least 2 turnovers on defense.
Nice. All right. Care to be specific at what type of turnovers?
I'm thinking interceptions. We need the ball. We get the ball. See ball, get ball. Interceptions.
Yes, absolutely. All right, and I say as far as my final score, I say 64-60. The Gunslingers will pull it out and secure the victory. What's your final score?
Again, we're right there. I'm at 62-58.
Okay.
I think it'll be high scoring. And my luck, it'll be like 34-20 or something like that. But, I see fireworks. And I wanted to talk to the guys about a little bit of the rivalry that San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston have with each other. I think I'm the only native Texan around here. Did Austin, he went to SMU, but is he from Texas?
Right. Yeah.
So we have a strong, healthy dislike of each other. San Antonio doesn't like Houston. San Antonio doesn't like Dallas. So it's very important that we get this game and cement our place in this rivalry.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So I think that wraps up our discussions about the Brahmas and the Gunslingers. Did you have any other thoughts or opinions for either game before we call it a night?
If you're headed out to the San Antonio Arlington game on Saturday, be prepared to pay through the nose for parking. The Rangers have a game right across the street, and so they're controlling the parking, and the parking near the stadiums is, I believe it's $80 with the surcharges and taxes and fees and all that stuff jumped on there. It's 124. You can park further down in some of the further lots. They were recommending lot M on the Horns Forward podcast, and it's a little bit of a trek, but it's $20-$30 as opposed to 80. So that if you're going to either one of these games, find us, let us know. We'll try to sit together. We'll be loud and we'll be rowdy together.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So that is Friday, 7:30 for the Gunslingers, and then Saturday at 6 for the Brahmas.
Yes, and Horns Forward will be out there tailgating. Go and say hi to those guys. The Los Bandidos group on Facebook is also doing a food drive out there as well. So bring your non-perishables, your canned goods, and they're also accepting school supplies, things of that nature. Gently used or worn clothing materials, stuff that you feel good about passing on to somebody else. The better.
Right.
So they'll be doing that as well. If you look at our Facebook pages, you'll definitely see the post for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might not like Arlington, but it's still for a good cause. So
yeah,
if you're going to the game, bring something that you can donate. It's for a very great cause. All right. Well, I think that just about does it for tonight's show. So I think we'll call it a night. Mike, I'll see you at the game Friday, and I'll see you there on Saturday as well too.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. So that's it for me. It's time for this Brahma to be put out to pasture, at least until the next episode. Until then, San Antonio, horns forward and guns up. Have a great night, y'all.